How do I look?
Hi there. You look good, Chris. Break with viral marketing. Thank you for watching this video. If you're a real estate professional and you're looking to raise some consistent revenue, some money through sponsorships, co-marketing, or by building what I like to call a brand ambassador program, and I didn't coin this, actually Chris Waters here did, who you're going to meet here in a second, to raise money to help offset your marketing cost so you can scale up quicker and generate more leads and build your business. This is the video I want you to watch. We're going to break down step by step from scratch. If you're even brand new in a market, know no one, how you can raise some money. And I'm talking thousands and thousands of dollars of money that you can use directly towards your marketing expenses to reduce the risk of, buying viral marketing or taking on radio or taking on TV or taking on some more expensive lead generation to build your business, where you may not want to do it where it's just relied upon you having to sell the next house. You might want a secondary source of income, and you can do that by building a brand ambassador program, co-marketing, getting advertisers. Pay attention today, because today is going to be a very profitable day. You're looking to raise some money. We're going to show you how to do it. So I want to introduce you to Chris Waters. Chris started his own real estate brokerage in his 20s. After a brief stint at one, realized it wasn't for him, and went off and started Waters International Realty out of Austin, Texas, with a very big vision that he wanted to be international. And in 3 years from starting that brokerage, made for himself by building a team and using the brand ambassador program to help scale up the lead generation. We didn't have much and wanted to reduce the risk, to netting after all expenses $1 million. Now you tell me, there's something to learn here from someone that goes from zero with nothing to starting his own brokerage, all that risk, all that overhead, all that expenses in the very highly competitive market of Austin, that goes in with his own brokerage and nets himself $1 million in 3 years. That's incredible. There's a story here. And one of the key aspects of that story was how he raised money to help offset the marketing costs. Chris, welcome. Glad to hear you. Did I get everything right?
Thank you for that intro, man. That was a great intro.
It's true, right? Is there everything true?
I wish people could see photos of me sitting on a red IKEA couch held up by phone books back in 2010 in an apartment with my girlfriend, who then became my wife. I wish they could see pictures back then to understand like how broke I was and how there was no way I was going to be able to spend money on lead generation because I had no money. And at that point I was in debt because I had invested in a business that went totally failed miserably and accrued a bunch of debt. And so if it hadn't have been for the brand ambassador program, I wouldn't have had the cash to be able to scale up the lead generation efforts to be able to grow the business and do it very quickly.
Now, let's just get right to the point with the money, because I want people to pay attention. We're not talking about a couple $100s here. In your brand ambassador program right now, how much cash do you get every month from your brand ambassadors, your advertisers, your sponsors for exposure? And for the networking we're going to talk about later too.
Right. So our team here in Austin is getting close to $25,000 a month from different local business owners that we have partnerships with. And so, over the course of the year, it's a pretty considerable amount of money, about almost 300,000 total. We get contributed to us from, lots of various service vendors, insurance, homeowners insurance like PNC Insurance, plumbing companies, lawn care, irrigation, tile. I mean, there's a NAR stat out there that says when a property is sold, that it injects north of $80,000 in revenue into the U.S. economy because of that one single event, a home selling. And so, the agent is a lever that is what causes that, $80,000 plus injection into the U.S. economy. So we have a lot of influence over our ability to refer business. And that's probably one of the first things, Frank, I would tell anybody listening to this call is you need to come from a place of authentically trying to do a great job for your clients. And so I'm sure we'll dive into this here shortly, but it's not about just going and signing up anybody that's going to sign a piece of paper and give you money. To have a successful relationship with these vendors, they need to actually do an amazing job for the clients you refer to them. That's kind of step one, is to make sure you're aligning with vendors that are going to do a great job for their customers. You got to think more about the lifetime value of that relationship, because like if you're new to implementing a brand ambassador program, in the first year, you're not going to go out and raise, you know, 20 to 25,000 a month. In your first year, you could raise up to $10,000 a month, and you need partners that are going to do a great job, because if you send them deals, they need to be able to convert, and then they need to be able to also do a great job for those customers you refer to them, so it doesn't ruin your relationship with the client. So, you know, as time progresses, it's easy for your, you know, your monthly revenue to scale up if you've got the right partners helping you with, you know, maintaining that consumer experience and helping convert the people you send, right? So like, just as an example, I partnered with a mortgage company at one of, this was back 5, 6, 7 years ago. Partnered with a mortgage company. We would send them, you know, referrals, and they actually did a really good job converting them, but they did a horrendous job from a consumer experience perspective, and it really burned our relationship with the client. So it's, you know, there's two big holes in the bucket you got to think of. One is the actual consumer experience part, and then the other is the conversion. So like another huge fail we had was we were sending leads to a homeowner's insurance guy, and like he already had a pretty big book of business, but he was, you know, not doing what it would take to help convert that lead into a closed deal. And so, you know, his ROI was terrible. So, you know, when you're out there trying to find local business owners to partner with, you need to find the guy that is going to go out and hustle, that's going to work on converting them into customers, and then we'll follow that up with an amazing consumer experience if you're going to grow your brand ambassador program and not have to just constantly be turning and burning vendors trying to keep, you know, raising money.
Chris, I think everyone's very excited when you said $25,000. And that seems normal to you, but for someone that can raise that kind of money a month, that's game changing in their business.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's
changing.
Yep. No, I mean, it's a lot of money even to me now. And I don't say that number lightly. I guess, you know, I'm thinking of like, how do I get that to, you know, 40 and 50,000? But, you know, I mean, even when I first started 7 years ago, I'm sleeping on my girlfriend's couch on a fucking red IQ couch. I mean, like I'm closing very few deals. And, you know, I had no brand awareness, no credibility in the industry, just a single agent. And I wanted
your own brokerage that you decided to start.
Yep. I am totally ignorant. I am an ignorant 25-year-old that doesn't know what I'm trying to, I'm not emotionally aware of the mountain I'm trying to climb. And so I guess ignorance was bliss. But, you know, the very first vendor I got on board, you know, was $250. The next one was like $500 a month. The next one was $1,000 a month. And so it takes time to develop. You're not going to go overnight and raise 25,000. I think what success looks like if you're a single agent trying to build a team or start your own brokerage is to set yourself a goal over the first year to raise a minimum of 5,000. I don't think 5,000 is realistic. If you think about your brand ambassador,
unrealistic.
Correct. It's not unrealistic to raise $5,000 in your first year. You know, basically kind of the process I would recommend to anybody.
$5,000 a month.
$5,000 per month. Yep. So the process I'd recommend to everybody out there is go after some of the low-hanging fruit, which are your lenders. So like, you know, mortgage brokers, bankers, whatever, title companies, title insurance companies. You know, some states have these escrow things, right, where you have like an attorney, your homeowner's insurance. Those are kind of the low-hanging fruit things. I know the first thing people want to ask about is RESPA. And so the best, you know, first off, I'm not an attorney. I can't give legal advice. Every single state's different. And, you know, what I did in the beginning, because I didn't have attorneys, I had nobody I could really rely on, is I leaned on the mortgage banks to help put together the paperwork for the lead generation agreements. And they had attorneys on staff, and, you know, they know the RESPA rules a lot better than I do. So if you're in that position, you're a single agent, you know, don't have attorneys to help you draft documents or review them, is, you know, basically when we get more into this, Frank, and people learn more about how to, you know, talk about the brand ambassador program, once you know, kind of pitch this idea to a mortgage branch or a loan officer, that's when you'll, lean on them to go to their legal department to help you draft the documentation. But it's very similar to like what Zillow does, right? So like you can set up a co-lead generation ad budget with a lender where the lender contributes 50% and then you as the agent contribute 50%. And then something you can do on the other 50% that you're supposed to spend is you get the money from your
people not on the settlement agreement.
Right. Non-settlement service providers. So it's very easy to raise money through non-settlement service providers. So that's like your yard guy, landscape guy, furniture companies,
home improvement company, like home remodeling.
Yep, home remodeling, countertop people, cabinet people. I mean, so if you're an agent and you're listening to this, think about when you walk through the door of a home, like every surface, right? Like painting, lighting fixtures, flooring. There's tile people, there's carpet people, cabinet people, hardware. Like there's so many people that go into the construction of a home, and every single one of those vendors are people you can have on your vendor list. And that you can prospect to be a part of your brand ambassador program.
So Chris, I love the goal of $5,000 a month as fast as possible.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. Okay. So let's speak to that person that's not getting any money right now. And this has never even occurred to them that this is even possible. And they're just blown away by thousands of dollars of money to help me out with Legion. It would let them sleep so much better at night and let them try new things and scale up. We don't have to grind the phones, right?
That's right. Yeah.
It's completely life-changing.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you got to 25,000, but have you been able to repeat it in another market with somebody else? You mentioned to me earlier before this that you got someone to 10,000 a month in San Antonio in 1 year. Why don't you tell me a little bit about that story briefly?
Yeah, so we it's funny, this guy from Kansas, he came from a family of farmers, and he actually got a master's in, I don't know, something around farming, and they moved to Lubbock, which is in the north part of Texas, and he was living there while his wife finished her doctorate, and he got his real estate license, and he was just doing this part-time, or not part-time, he's doing it full-time, but he was doing it while his wife finished school. And so anyways, they are big into motorcycles, and they took a drive down to Central Texas, went through the hill country, fell in love. And while they were down here, they happened to hear one of my radio ads, and his name's Chad, and Chad reached out to me, and he's like, man, I'm super impressed by all the stats I hear about your team. I'd love to learn more. He came down to my office, and he's like, man, I'm hooked. I want to duplicate and do exactly what you're doing, except I want to do it in San Antonio. And me and my wife, we want to move to New Braunfels, which is a town just north of San Antonio. So Chad moved to San Antonio, didn't know a soul, had never even been to San Antonio prior to that trip. He went with his wife down there just for sightseeing and being tourists. And he had never even sold a house, no database, no nothing, no team. And I mean, in his first year, scaled to $10,000 in vendor money. So, you don't need a big database. You don't need a team. Like, bottom line, like, if you can't do this, it's not because you can't, it's because you have some preconceived limiting beliefs as to why you can't go and raise money. Because I think if you implement a brand ambassador program, there's an immense amount of value as an agent you can offer to local business owners. And it ends up becoming, and we'll probably get more into this, Frank, but it ends up becoming kind of like a BNI group, right? Like where, you basically have, a group of, imagine like 10 to 20 different local business owners that meet once a month and mastermind on how to help each other grow their business. And so what's actually kind of interesting is something that we learned over the years was what is more impactful to a business owner is not, one lead or one deal every month. What's more impactful is being surrounded by other business owners that are all working on trying to improve their business, and everybody masterminding on how to help one another overcome whatever challenges they are, and then just being very transparent, sharing with the group what's actually working really well. And if you asked all of the people in our brand ambassador program, they will tell you the one reason they're in it, like the most important reason they're in it, is because of the monthly mastermind sessions we host, once a month with our brand ambassadors, and they gain more value out of that group than anything else they do in their business, because the impact of like one little, golden nugget they get from that, 3-hour mastermind session, they can go implement in their business, and it could improve their business by, 50, 100,000, 200,000, $300,000 just from learning one little nugget on, for example, lead generation, or a better sales methodology, or, managing the back end of their operations of their business. Or, one of our vendors is a CPA. So like he shares, very openly with the group on ways to help you, make sure you're maximizing write-offs to improve your, your adjusted gross income and limit your tax liability. We've got another guy in there that's a financial advisor, and is, trying to help entrepreneurs kind of build the habit of, putting money outside of their business into, 401k to reduce tax liability, and, trying to diversify their risk. So anyways, there's a plethora of people in the group that are in different industries, and it speaks volumes to everybody in the group. And basically I know we're probably going to get into this more later, but the way the mastermind works is every month there's 2 people that go on the hot seat. And when you're on the hot seat, you have to discuss what is your one biggest challenge in your business that you need help overcoming. And then what's the one thing you do that you feel like is far superior to anyone else in the industry. And so everybody in the group helps that business owner accomplish that, overcome that one challenge that is their biggest challenge in their business. And so it's kind of like a 360 feedback thing where people give feedback and talk through how they can help overcome that obstacle. Kind of a side subject is like, building a business is the same in any industry. And so a lot of local business owners are facing the same challenges, whether it's lead generation, lead conversion, managing the consumer experience. Everybody you are going to meet as a business owner are facing a lot of the same challenges. And so, when you kind of have these conversations, for example, in our most recent mastermind, we had a plastic surgeon. Yeah, I know. Anyways, I'm not going to get into how he became part of the brand ambassador program. Yeah, so we had this plastic surgeon that he's doing tons of radio and TV, and he's crushing the
That's crazy.
I feel like
all these. Well, here's what we're gonna. I got so many questions to ask you. We got to step back, because this is incredible, and obviously, it's very clear you know this very well. I mean, how long have you been getting money? How long have you been doing this?
So it started in 2010. So it's going on 8 years now. Yeah.
Okay. So it's sustainable.
Yep. Super sustainable.
Well,
I think your eyes will be opened as to who can be brand ambassador, who you can be a brand ambassador for.
There's so much going on here, like who you have for brand ambassadors. We have to step back here.
Yeah.
The money is shocking. The amount of money you're getting is shocking. And what also is shocking is you took somebody that had no experience in real estate from Kansas, a farmer in Kansas, in a city he's never been to ever, and no track record of selling any real estate. And in 1 year, got him $10,000 a month. Now, there had to have been some limiting beliefs. You talked about this. I want to spend some time on this. When I've read stats that half the country lives on $12, $15 an hour, maybe has a couple $100s in their paycheck. 40% of Americans would have to borrow, don't have enough money to have $400 to hit an unexpected expense. How do you take someone like that, that's getting into real estate, that wants to sell real estate, and get them in the mindset to go ask for a $10,000 a month? Just tell me about how you had to coach them just to say this is even possible, and some of the beliefs.
I think something that I think a lot of people aren't aware of is how most businesses are getting money from like the vendors they support. And so I'll give you an example. Car dealerships. So car dealerships are the king. They are literally the king at the brand ambassador program. And so car dealerships work with the different manufacturers, and the manufacturers will give them a considerable amount of money to, spend money on radio and TV. And just to give you an idea of like how car dealerships work, like the average car dealership in Austin, let's say, for example, they've got like Ford and Toyota. They've got like 3 brands, right? Their dealerships kind of recommending or whatever. They go to each of those brands and get anywhere from 50,000 to 75,000 a month, $50,000 to $75,000 a month in free ad spend to help push those products. I'll give you another example. Supplement companies like GNC, Vitamin Shop, supplement companies. The manufacturers, these brands of products that these supplement shop companies are selling, they give money to GNC to push radio and TV ads to help sell their products. So this is not a new concept. Businesses going and getting money from the vendors that they partner with. This is not a new concept. And
Chris, this is a secret. If someone looks at you and all your advertising you do, and you look at all these big mega agents that are selling hundreds of houses, they're getting money.
That's right. If you see anybody
There's no way that you're going to be able to take the risk and self-finance that just through commissions on home sales.
Right.
And they're able to drive up the price, and you're not going to be able to compete unless you're getting money.
Absolutely.
At that media.
And it's going to take you forever to grow your business if you don't have the capital to go and invest in lead generation. So if you want to grow and you want to grow fast, it's a function of how much money you can raise. And so the idea of raising money for helping support your lead generation efforts, for example, this is not a new concept. Almost all businesses out there do it. Speaking of car dealerships, that's a great partner to get as a brand ambassador. Go find some local car dealership. There's some stat that like a significant number of buyers after they close on a purchase go and buy a car after they buy a home. So if you live in a city with like some prominent dealership, keep in mind that dealership on a monthly basis is getting over probably $50,000 to $75,000 from the marketing, from the manufacturers. And the dealership can use that money however they want. So like for them to throw you $1,000 a month so that you can put like a $500 rebate in a closing gift basket to your clients when they close on the purchase of a house, like that's chump change to those guys. $1,000 on a $75,000 ad spend. And the dealership is getting their information in front of a buyer that has a high likelihood of turning around and buying a car after they close on the purchase of the house. Think about furniture shops, right? Like, so furniture companies, perfect example, furniture companies, like they go to all these different designers all over the world to get furniture pieces and different manufacturers to work with and bring their furniture to put on those showroom floors. And so those designers and those manufacturers are giving money to the furniture stores so they can do radio and TV ads. So take a furniture company, for example, with 25, 30,000, 40,000 a month and ad spend. That's their budget from like the manufacturer they work with. For them to throw you $500 a month towards your lead generation campaign so you can grow your business and get in front of more buyers and sellers, and then you in return, like something you reciprocate to that furniture store is you put in a closing gift basket, a $500 rebate towards the purchase of furniture. Like the value add there for that local business owner, that furniture store owner is massive. And then you put them in the mastermind and it's like, holy shit, the guy's like.
Well, they never experienced that before. It's probably pretty common in real estate, but the average business owner, they never even experienced something like that. I want to go back, Chris. This is great. You took somebody that wasn't even a real estate agent. So I want to remove some limiting beliefs here. That was a farmer from Kansas to a brand new market in San Antonio, relatively competitive, you know, to get $10,000. Now, how does someone raise $10,000 when they have no track record even selling any houses? So let alone if you're someone with a track record of selling houses here, this should be easy. So explain to me how someone gets $10,000 with no track record and no experience selling houses.
So it's honestly a matter of the number one thing that makes everything unnecessary is like that book, The One Thing, Gary Keller wrote, right? The whole thesis of like, what's the one thing to make everything else unnecessary? That one thing is just building a lot of rapport and positioning yourself with the local business owner in regards to where your business is going. So when you're sitting down with a local business owner, you really have to pitch them on the vision of where your business is going and what you're doing to grow the business. And most importantly, how it's going to help them. There's that saying, the with them, right? What's in it for me, right? You always got to relate everything back to what's in it for me. So like you position yourself in terms of the vision of where you're going and how that is going to impact the business owner you're partnering with. So the thing you got to kind of reverse engineer, if you're listening to this, is you need to reverse engineer, what would you do if you raised 5,000 a month? And how would you spend that money? How many people would you hire to go work those leads, for example? And then ultimately, how would that impact that local business owner you're partnering with? So for example, for example, if it's the furniture store company, you position it as in, hey, look, I'm in the process of onboarding 10 salespeople over the next 60 days. And I'm going to make sure that they have a coupon in the closing gift basket to every single person they close on a purchase of a home with, so that when that person's, positioned to go get furniture for their new home, they're going to drive to your furniture store and take advantage of this offer that we're giving to our clients.
So when he first went to San Antonio, give me some of the lowest hanging fruit of businesses you said go approach cold. Give me some of the industries or types of businesses.
Yep. So, I mean, the easy ones for most people listening to this are your settlement service providers. Those are the ones you have to be very, very careful of making sure you're RESPA and CFPB compliant. And those
usually
include
the mortgage company will do that for you.
Yeah. So, I mean, most mortgage banks are big, right? Like they've got tons of money behind them. They have legal teams. And so you can lean on them to help you make sure you're compliant. Also like Zillow, for example, right? Like Zillow is taking in like, I don't even know, tens of millions of dollars from lenders with these co-marketing agreements with agents and teams. And so, I mean, you can lean on Zillow and the lender to help make sure you get all your paperwork in compliance. So that's, the low-hanging fruits are settlement service providers, which are the lenders, the home warranty companies. So American Home Shield, Home Warranties of America. What are some others? Old Republic.
Amerispec.
What's that?
Amerispec.
Yeah, I don't know that one, but yeah, there's tons of them. And then you've also got title companies. Yep. And then if you're in a state with escrow, you could work out a partnership with an attorney that does the escrow side. It's lean on them to help you with the compliance aspect, because they have a lot of attorneys typically on staff with those settlement service providing companies. If you're an agent with a brokerage, you could probably speak to your brokerage and ask them if they can help you put this together with the settlement service providers and make sure you stay compliant for your local state, regulations or whatever. If your broker doesn't know anything about this or how to set these up, I would be a little worried. I'd be a little worried about who you're working with, because right now these co-marketing, co-lead generation agreements are very prevalent with Zillow and Realtor.com and some of these third-party website portals. So those are your big top three. In a matter of like 2 weeks.
We have lender, warranty, title, and escrow/attorney. Why don't you give me a couple big ones, non-settlement service providers? What are the biggest ones you go after that aren't on the settlement agreement?
Yeah, so literally the car dealerships are huge, man.
I don't think a lot of people think of that.
I can't. It
makes sense. They drop a fortune.
If anybody listening to this call turns on the radio or turns on the TV, I guarantee you hear more car commercials than anything else. Like they spend more money than any other industry on radio and TV, and so it's like stealing candy from a baby working with a car dealership, because it's like $1,000 to them in lead generation spend is nothing.
I get it. Car dealership. Who else?
And another big one is furniture. The furniture company I mentioned.
So big furniture store.
Yeah, big.
That makes a lot of sense, though. They're moving out, moving in.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. What else?
Another easy give me is moving companies.
Okay.
So, you know, I'll give you some ranges of like how much you can raise from these companies.
We'll get to that in a second. Give me some
Okay.
more. This is good. Keep going. Give me some more
Yep.
ideas.
So another big one when you close on the sale of a house, right, is like CPAs. So like somebody moves into the area, they just bought a house, you know, they want to make sure they get all their ducks in a row at the end of the year for taxes. So like make sure they get all their write-offs, take advantage of the interest expense write-off and closing costs, whatnot. So CPA is a really big one.
Give me two more. Let's get 10.
Yep. So another really good one is financial advisors. So what I recommend are there's two different kinds of financial advisors. So there's what's called a fee-based financial advisor, and they don't make commissions. So they get paid like a very small amount of commission. It's not even commission. They charge a small fee, like 0.7% of your portfolio that they manage. And they have a fiduciary duty to the clients, much like realtors do. So they're called fee-based advisors. So that's
registered investment advisors.
Yep. So the registered investment advisor, you nailed it. So those are great. And then there's also these financial advisors that are responsible for selling like life insurance policies and stuff like that. The type that are going to give you the most money are the ones that sell the life insurance because they get paid really fat commissions. I think you can have both in your group. So you can have the guy that helps people like set up, you know, the type of, you know, life insurance and disability insurance and things like that. And then you can also have a registered investment advisor. Registered investment advisors, if it's you know, the time is right in your life, they would recommend that financial advisor that sells the life insurance policy. So anyways, commissions on those life insurance policies is huge. They get a commission based off the lifetime value of the term, and then they get a, you know, piece of it. So so that's another great one.
One more. What about a home remodeler or some upgrading the house?
Yeah. So
what do you recommend?
Okay, so it's in Austin. There's a flooring company that really spun up a really unique deal for agents. And so like as an agent, you have a lot of clients that like, you know, their carpet needs to be replaced, their flooring's all jacked up, and it really affects the sale of the house. Mm-hmm. And so there's this one flooring company we partnered with, and like they basically will replace the floors, and you don't have to, the customer doesn't have to pay for it up front. They basically finance it. The customer gets charged a premium for the flooring because they're basically financing it for them. And then the flooring company gets reimbursed at closing. And so it's a huge win-win. Like we help our clients net more money.
Great.
And then the flooring company, like they give us 10% of the gross revenue from the sale of the flooring. And so you know, to get the floors redone in a house, you're talking about, you know, $5,000, $6,000, $7,000. So with one referral, you can get $500 to $700, you know, for referring a customer. And you're operating from your fiduciary duty because legit, your client is going to get a better outcome if they have nice floors versus flooring that's got like Kool-Aid spilled all over it and like, you know, it's torn to pieces, right? I mean, they will net more money getting the floors. So like that's an amazing win-win with a flooring company. We've also done that with painting, like painters. So like interior and exterior painters, we've gotten local contractors that will get paid at closing. Again, they charge a small premium. Just a little nugget for anybody listening. It's really important you go work with like really big vendors. So like these mom and pop shops, right, that like are out there that have painting companies and flooring companies, you're not going to have a lot of success with those guys. And if you remember what I said at the very beginning of this, I talked about how, you know, not only do they need to be able to convert the referrals you're sending over, they also need to maintain the consumer experience. The challenge with the mom and pop shops is they're not going to be able to keep up with you from a growth perspective. So they're not going to be able to convert the leads. And so they're not going to get a good return on investment. You're not going to get money for your brand ambassador program. And then like they're already probably pretty busy. And so the consumer experience part can be a little hit and miss because they're in that, you know, painful process of scaling their business and trying to get the right people on their team. So ideally, you go work with the biggest and the best vendors out there because from their perspective, like whatever you're asking for from a, you know, monetary contribution perspective is going to be pennies, right? Because like if you go to the number one flooring company in your city, they're already probably spending a lot of money on lead generation, 10, 15, 20,
And they would
25
love
grand.
some nice referrals as opposed to the stuff that
Oh,
comes in or whatever.
dude, they would love slam dunk business where they're not chasing internet leads. So
Yeah.
it's yeah, when if you only selling a few homes, Chad, for example, hadn't sold any homes in San Antonio, and he got started from nothing. He was pitching the vision, he was pitching the value that business owner would get, and basically kind of told them, look, we're going to grow together. As you invest money in me, I'm going to invest more money in lead generation, which is going to put more
More money in
potential
your pocket.
clients in your bucket.
So you tell them exactly what you're going to do to generate those leads.
Exactly.
And you show them how they're converted, how you make calls, how you make deals, and how they're going to go right back to them.
Yep, exactly. So I mean, like if you're using a platform like Real Geeks or one of these CRM systems, I mean, Real Geeks is probably one of the best bang for your buck platforms. And so like what I did back then was I actually opened up my Real Geeks or Boomtown platform at the time, and I showed them the platform. I said, look, here's all the leads I'm generating. Whenever these deals close, I'll start directing them to you. And when you start contributing money, I will increase my lead generation budget. And so I'm going to generate even more leads. My roster of potential buyer and seller prospects is going to get even bigger. And then I'm going to, obviously refer those to you, when the time comes.
2 questions for you. So let's go through the big vendor list that you recommended.
Mm-hmm.
I'll throw a couple in there that I know viral clients use that helps as well. But we had the lender, the warranty company, title company, escrow and attorney, car dealership, furniture store, moving company, CPA, financial advisor, or a flooring and painting company.
Another big one's PNC, property and casualty insurance, like the people that do car insurance and homeowners insurance.
Yeah, property and casualty.
Yep.
And I'm also going to put in like a home remodeler, but they may not be big enough to get the kind of money you're asking for.
If you can find a
like a home builder,
a good remodeling company, and set up a deal where you take 10% of the gross revenue, like that's not unrealistic. I think you need to think about your marketplace and think about your customers, and like number one, how can your customers get a lot of value from your relationship with these businesses, and then vice versa, like how well will these business owners be positioned to have success as a business. So I guess what I'm getting at is like, say for example, like you're an agent that represents investors and they buy a lot of houses that they flip, like absolutely, like having a relationship with a remodeling company, and like you're kind of like the salesperson for that remodeling company, because number one, they're going to do a great job for your investors to help get those houses ready to rent out. That could be a huge win-win. But I can't stress enough like how important it is to come from a place of like genuinely wanting to do a good job for your customer and these local businesses and make it a win-win. Because if you can do that, like there's no limit. I mean, you can grow your brand ambassador program like leaps and bounds.
Absolutely. So 2 questions next. First is I really have to drive home this, especially with showing the leads and how much business you can send. Let's try to give the audience something more specific of how to overcome the RESPA fears. Okay. So I want to see how we can better answer that question. And then the second question is, let's go through these 10. Maybe what you would ask for someone who's looking to say, just get the $5,000, brand new. Man, if I get $5,000 a month, that'd be game changing, right? Let's go through your thought process of what you'd pitch the lender for money, what you pitch the warranty company for money, what you pitch the title company for money, all the way down through all those 10 people. Let me hear those pitches, how you would present the offer, if you will, of how you're going to help their business in return for the money. So first question.
Yep. RESPA. So if we were just, you want to talk about RESPA? Okay.
Yep. RESPA first.
Yeah. So your question to me is the lender.
Where do I go? No, just if I'm watching this, I'm like, I have no idea how to start. I think you answered this by going to your broker. Can you give someone where to start of how to put together a RESPA agreement? Or is it just as simple as currently going to your mortgage title escrow company saying, I want to do something like this with you? Okay. What do you already have in place? You tell me what the MSA is, or the marketing service agreement.
Yep. Okay. So number one, it's really as simple as leaning on these settlement service providers, leaning on their legal teams. And let me give you one more nugget. So if you're wondering, like, for example, like you're wondering, like, who in my marketplace is already doing this? Like what lenders are already doing this? And you want to think about like, because like if you've got a lender in your marketplace already doing it, like they've already figured out the compliance piece, right? And so the one way you can find out what mortgage banks are already familiar with these co-marketing agreements is you can simply go to Zillow, for example, and on the right-hand side, there's typically those Zillow Premier agents, right, that are like advertising, trying to get leads. There's typically 3 agents or 4 agents on the right-hand side. And so if you click on one of those Zillow featured Premier agents, and it pulls up their profile, and you scroll all the way to the bottom of the profile, there's a preferred lender at the bottom. And so that preferred lender is somebody that's contributing money towards Zillow and is in this very reciprocal, lead exchange type, lead generation type relationship with that Zillow Premier agent. And so look at who that mortgage bank is, call them up on the phone, said, hey, I noticed you do some, you do these co-lead generation agreements on Zillow, and I'm building a team. I'm looking to increase my lead generation. I'm looking for lenders that are open-minded and would like to grow with me as I grow my business, so I can return the value and send referrals to a trusted mortgage professional. It's on the phone. That's a very simple appointment to set. I mean, it's like, yeah, stealing candy from a baby. Like if you see somebody spending money on Zillow with the Premier agent, you call them up on the phone, just cold call them up and said, hey, I noticed you have a co-lead generation agreement in place with so-and-so, and I'd like to talk to you about scaling this up for myself. Like they're gonna set the appointment, like, I mean, tomorrow. Like they will drive across town to come see you. Like these lenders they want you as bad as you want them, right? So I mean, super easy. And then with the home warranty companies, you're gonna go on their website, and what you're looking for is the area sales manager, and reach out to that area sales manager and say, hey, look, I'm interested in spending more money on lead generation and recommending you as my preferred home warranty company, and I'd like to do some co-marketing together. Can we sit down and meet? I guarantee you, like 99% chance, that area marketing manager the following day will sit down with you to talk about what you guys can do together. Same with the title company, same with the PNC insurance guy, same with your any of these vendors. Like if you get somebody on the phone and you tell them, hey, I want to refer you business and I want us to do some joint marketing to grow together, when would be a good time for us to discuss this opportunity? Like they would be stupid not to meet with you. And if they don't meet with you, move on to the next person, because there's lots of people out there that would love to sit down and talk about how you guys can grow your businesses together.
So let's talk about how much money to ask for each of these people. Let's say your target's $5,000 a month.
Yep.
And then let's talk about the agreement, not the MSA, but more like what are you doing for them with the money? Like, is it purely just you're going to run advertising in a business, or do you invite them into your videos? Do you mentioned putting them in your client welcome packet? There's other items of value. So let's talk about value exchange for the lender. How much should someone go who's brand new in real estate, doesn't know the area? What do they ask the lender for?
Okay, so first off, something you have to be super careful of is you can never, talk about, like, with a lender what a referral's worth. Like you can never say, like, for example, Mr. Lender, for every referral I send you, will you give me $500? Like you can never ever say that. Like that's what'll get you in trouble, is if you talk about how you're going to give a settlement service provider, a referral, and then that settlement service provider will refer back to you a fixed amount of money. Like that is what, RESPA and CFPB do not want to see happen. They don't want us to see us like, getting paid, a fixed amount of money for every deal. And like, it ends up becoming this type of relationship where, they're, buying business. Like that's the worst thing, is for it to come off like another local business is buying business from you because of your influence on the customer. That's literally the
don't do that.
You don't want to operate from that place. Yeah.
So tell me how you finagle this conversation.
So like I think if you're starting out as a single agent, right? And I'm not referencing like how many leads you're generating. I'm not referencing how many referrals you're sending out. I just think if you're growing your business and like say for example your goal is to build a team, I think a number to start out with per month to ask for is $1,000 a month to start, and up to $2,500. So that's kind of the range between 1,000 and 2,500 is what you could ask of the lender. That's it's a I don't know if you're listening to this video, it may seem like oh, that's a lot of money. A little.
Not really. I mean, mortgage people make just as much as money as real
So
estate agents.
brings up an interesting point. So like speaking of mortgage companies, so like you're not going to want to communicate with the loan officer. You need to talk to the branch manager of that mortgage bank, because the amount of money the banks make per loan is significantly more than the loan officer. So just as an example, typically like a loan that's insured by Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, or Ginnie Mae, that's like FHA, VA, or USDA, one of those government insured loan programs, the banks are typically making 6 to 7% gross. And that was the biggest aha to me when I heard that banks with these government insured loans are making 6 to 7% gross.
So how much is that? How much money are they making on a $200,000 loan?
So on a $200,000 VA loan or FHA loan, the bank is making anywhere between they could make anywhere from $12,000 to $14,000 on a $200,000 house.
Which is more than a real estate commission.
It's more than a real estate commission. And what happens is that 12 to 14,000, the bank will then give 1% on average to the loan officer. And then the bank, reaps the rewards of all the stuff on the back end. And how they make that money, it's a multi-layered deal. Yeah. So like, for example, they get a premium.
Yield spread premium and all those other
Yep. They can sell like the debt servicing rights for 1%. There's all these the ways that the banks make money on the back end. So, if you are listening to this and you go call a loan officer and say, I want $1,000, and he seems a little cautious about doing it, it's because yes, he's operating on only 1%. And if you like that LO and like you want to continue working with that LO because he does a great job for your customers and the consumer experience is there, ask the LO if you can have a meeting with his branch manager and tell the branch manager, hey, here's what I'm trying to do. I'm looking to build a team. I'm trying to generate more leads. I want to get more deals closed. I'd like to go into a co-marketing agreement. And the loan officer will rely on the bank to put up the money. Yeah, so that way it doesn't actually come out of the pocket of the LO. We've structured, we've done deals before where the LO took a little bit less commission per deal. So instead of like 1%, they got paid like 75 basis points. And then the mortgage bank covered the cost of the entire lead generation agreement.
What if you're an agent in a brokerage that says like, you have to use our mortgage company?
Mm-hmm. Well, number one, they can't require you to use their mortgage company. So if you've got a team or you're an agent at a big brokerage, number one, they can't require you to use a mortgage company. And if you are, the brand ambassador program is tailored really well for people that are looking to grow and become, build big teams. Like that's really, I think, who the brand ambassador program is really well designed for. I think if you're a single agent, like you can take advantage of things like, home warranty company, those relationships and co-marketing, the title company, some of the smaller things like, the PNC insurance people. But if your vision isn't to build a big business and increase your lead generation, and you just want to stay a single agent and just, spend less money on marketing, for example, and just, capitalize on the relationships you have with non-settlement service providers, you can still do it, but the amount of money is going to be considerably less.
Got it.
The reason people are putting in so much is because you're pitching them on the vision of where you're going, and then ultimately how that's going to benefit the vendor that's joining your brand ambassador program.
Chris, you're a wealth of knowledge. We're going to have to wrap this up here shortly, so I'm going to kind of rapid fire some questions here for you. I would assume, given that someone's watching this, is probably a viral client, understands viral marketing. You're a viral client.
Yep.
Isn't it put you in a safer position when you get the lender and the warranty company, the title company, to participate in the videos?
Oh my God!
Participate in the marketing. Let's talk about why you may want to use viral as a vehicle for your brand ambassador program. And then we're going to go back, everyone, by the way, of asking what the amounts are for all these people.
Yep. So, okay. So we actually did a video with a plumbing company that contributes $500 a month towards our brand ambassador program.
I'm going to add
And
a
so
plumbing company here.
yep. So the plumbing company, in Texas, like we get something called a static pressure test done to make sure that the cast iron plumbing hasn't been rotted out. So anyways, that static pressure test is like $350. And then if any work needs to be done and plumbing has to be replaced, you're talking about a $10, $15, $20,000 job for a plumbing company. So the plumbing company gives us $500 a month. We actually, when we were approaching wintertime and it was getting really cold, we actually did a video with the plumbing company, and we did this viral video where the plumbing company kind of educated us on how to make sure, number one, you wrap your pipes and do all those things, how to prevent from having frozen pipes, etc. Things you can do going into winter to see if you have any cracks in your pipe via the static pressure test.
Sure.
He also just, we send out our viral video to our huge database of potential buyers.
With a coupon or an offer to them.
Yep, exactly. So like he basically in the video said, hey, if you're working with Waters International and you're, thinking about buying a home and you want to get a static pressure test done to make sure, you don't have any plumbing issues after you buy the home, we'll give you 10% off what the static pressure test costs. So instead of $375, it was only like $335 or something like that. So that was like a little offer he made in the video. So that's something we did with a plumbing company. We also did a video with a homeowner's insurance company, and the homeowner's insurance guy, when he recorded the video, what he talked about in the video was something called a clue report. And so you can get something called a clue report, and it's kind of like a Carfax report on a car, except it's for your house. So insurance companies have this big database where they can see all of the things that have been filed from insurance claims. And so if you're a buyer and you want to research what kind of insurance claims have been filed on the house, you ask for a clue report.
How come no one knows about that?
It's mind-blowing to me. Not many people know about that. And it was an eye-opener to me from my insurance agent years and years ago. But we do a viral video with him, and he talks about the clue report and like how if you call him, he'll run a clue report for you on the house at no charge prior to you buying the home to make sure you're not buying some house with like that had previously had mold or some the house is flooded or something. He'll do that research. So actually, Frank, you bring up a really good point. So like we have this list of like tactical things we do for our vendors. Like for example, putting in a imagine this. So imagine like you're a buyer and you get a closing gift basket. So in our closing gift basket, we have all these things that look like gift cards. And on the gift cards, it's like, for example, the car dealership, it's $500 off a purchase of a
It's all the coupons, all the offers for your vendors.
Right. And so like it's the most amazing closing gift basket because it's like basically like a couple $1,000s in gift cards from all of our vendors. So anyways, the car dealerships in there, insurance guy, the plumbing guy, painter, landscape, irrigation, financial advisor, CPA, like they're all in there, and they all have some like value offer in our closing gift baskets. And so that's one of the things we offer to them. We also put them on our website. We have we have like a vendor
section.
Yep, we have a preferred vendors page. And then we also, when we go on a listing appointment or on appointment with a buyer, we have these folders, and it has all of our our typical documents like the buyer representation agreement or listing agreement, and related documents we have the seller fill out. And also in there is our vendor form of all of our preferred vendors. And so our salespeople are giving this to the consumer and saying, hey, look, here are the vendors we work with. We do a lot of co-marketing with these vendors and collaborate together on various marketing activities. And we trust these vendors. These are people we work with consistently, and they do a great job with our clients. And so if you need your house repainted, yard fixed up, roof replaced, roofer is a big one. Like a roof is anywhere between typical composition shingle roof is at the low end $5,000 up to $10,000, and then you think about those like metal roofs and clay roofs, and now you're talking $30,000 and $40,000. So, if you can get 10% of that in form of
Or a
referrals.
giant hailstorm comes through and you email your
Dude, oh my
database
God.
saying, here's some leads.
How many agents are listening to this right now and had a hailstorm happen or had some like natural
Volunteer
catastrophe? Yeah. So like if
making
you're in an area for,
$1 million.
yep, like imagine you're in an area where like flooding is a common issue. Like go get one of those companies, those like those companies you call to help you like basically like, they drill holes in your trim, they pull all your flooring out and they suck all the water out. I forgot what they're called. They anytime there's like some flooding or whatever, they like come to the rescue, pull everything out, like cut out the sheetrock to try to prevent mold and all that kind of stuff. Like that's another huge person for your brand ambassador program is that vendor. This is awful. I'm forgetting the name of the guy we use.
Well,
they
Chris,
specialize.
This is incredible. We can go on forever. Let me go back to a question that everyone wants to know.
Yep.
Let's go really quick. I got to raise money. I'm a brand new agent. I know a single person. I'm going to sell them the vision, and I'm going to do viral marketing, and I'm going to include them in the marketing because that helps protect me from saying I'm just paying for business. Because I can show there's proportional representation, there's participatory marketing going on.
You want to make it less. Yes, you want to make it less about the referral, and you want to make it more about like how can you add value to your customers.
Cross-promotion and then the mastermind.
Right. Yep. Exactly. So you nailed it. So come up with the cross-promotional material, do the monthly mastermind, and get them involved with your viral videos to educate your clients. And like it's a no-brainer. Like you'll have vendors that will be with you for years and years. Like I mean, I have my financial advisor, CPA, like all these people I've been working with since the very beginning, and we all grew together, like our business grew and so did theirs because we were, referring customers to them and they continue to do a good job for our customers.
Great. All right, let's go through really quickly. I got a bunch of businesses here. Lender, 1,000 to 2,500. Warranty company.
So, I think starting out, ask for, $50 to $100 a month. If you're, doing a lot of business, maybe ask for like $250. If you're doing a shit ton of business, go up for $500.
What's a lot of business at $250,000 average sales price?
I can't answer that because it's like, then you get into that area of like, what's a referral worth, right?
Fair enough. So got it.
You got to be.
Don't worry about it. Keep going. Title company, how much?
Title company.
Business. Not much.
Yep.
Business.
So title company asks for a minimum of 500 and up to 2,500. That's kind of the general range. You've got a mega team like sending 20, 30 deals a month, and like you guys do tons of cross collaboration. You do like events, seminars, all kinds of like cross promotional educational type stuff, and you guys just y'all's businesses are huge. Maybe you go ask for 5,000. So
escrow
the range,
attorney.
So escrow attorney. Yeah, sorry. So in Texas, we don't have escrow attorneys, so I can't answer a number on that. The title insurance vendor is going to contribute more money because that's where most of the money is in the title insurance.
Car dealership.
Car dealerships go for a minimum of 500 up to 1,000.
Yeah. Furniture store.
Furniture store, little as 250 up to 1,000. The function of your sales price, by the way, and like on average, like obviously, if you have $1 million house, that person's going to spend a ton of money on furniture, and everything they do is going to cost more. If you have more, of an average home that's like 200,000, they're not going to go drop 50 grand on furniture. They may go drop 10,000.
So it depends upon the affluency of the customer.
I guess another way to think about it is like, as a business owner, like, would you trade a dime for a dollar?
It's the magical box. You put $1 in and get 2 out. I'd never stop.
Yeah, no brainer, right? So like, I guess with the non-settlement service providers, think of the way you can position it is Mr. Vendor, like you're trading a dime for a dollar, right? So like, think of it like as a business owner, like how much would you be willing to spend to generate a sale? And so put yourself in the shoes of that business owner and think about like, if someone goes and spends 10 grand on furniture at a furniture store, like what's that worth to the furniture store company? Like how much money would they have to go spend on radio and TV?
Much more directly with a non-settlement service.
Exactly. Yep. So you can be very transparent with non-settlement service providers and say, hey, look, what is this what is it worth to you to get, to generate a sale? And then, my goal would be to like refer you one person a month or two people or whatever. And, with the expectation, you're going to do a great job for my customers and all these things. So,
all right, well, let's keep moving. Moving company CPA, let's go through them. Just again, a lot of this is probably 250 to 1,000, but I'm seeing if there's any outliers.
Yep.
Moving company.
Yeah, moving company 250 to 1,000.
CPA.
CPA anywhere from probably 250 to 500.
500. Financial advisor. The ones that make a lot of money.
Yeah, so the financial advisors make a lot of money. You can get anywhere between $500 up to 1,000.
Okay. Flooring painting company.
Flooring and painting company, probably as little as 250. I'd say on average 500, as much as 1,000.
Okay. Property and casualty insurance person, which is probably the owner of this PNC brokerage.
Yep. So PNCs, they don't make a lot of money. They actually don't make any money on the insurance policy, typically in year one. It's all about the residual, 10-year, 20-year deal of the insurance policy. So like your PNC is probably going to be the smallest. You may start off at like $100 a month and go up to like 500.
Plumbing. Now, is this a big national plumbing brand franchise or just Joe the Plumber?
Yeah. So like, again, try to stay away from the mom and pop shops and try to go to the bigger companies that are investing a lot of money in growing their business through, lead generation, and they've got bigger teams, right? So that as you grow your business, like they don't get overwhelmed because you send them too many referrals.
Okay. Roofer and remodeling companies, finally.
Yeah. So roofing companies, easy 250, 500 minimum. Remodelers, it's kind of a function of the project, but minimum 250 to 500.
I think if you had enough of these people, you can get $5,000 a month.
Dude, we're just, that's only 10. So like our vendor sheet is 2 pages of people, like line item by line item. It's 2 pages.
How many people do you have on your vendors?
We are at 26.
So you meet with 26 people once a month for a mastermind?
Yep.
Incredible.
Yep.
And then you're just running their credit cards, right? For all of them, like using payment processor?
Yeah, so exactly. So what you do is we set up a PayPal monthly subscription, and it bills them once a month via PayPal. Now your settlement service providers, like we don't take any money from those guys. Like it never hits our bank account. It goes directly to the the lead generation companies. Yep. And then those settlement service providers also get a copy of those leads, right? So like they get the lead, they could call them, they can work them. So it's kind of like a lead generation agreement. The other non-settlement service providers, some of them have access to our lead management platform, and the reason we give them access is so that like in our platform we can click a little button and it'll notify them like, hey, call this lead. They're going to put their house on the market. Their flooring is horrible. They need to get it replaced. Set up an appointment to go meet them. So like we have some of our vendors as users in our lead management system, just again to help with creating a more fluid consumer experience.
That's great. That's really cool. Inviting your vendors into your CRM to see and work the leads and to push them to them, and you see who owns them and the notes and the contact information's right there. Cool tip.
Yep.
All right, so I want to wrap this up. This has been eye-opening, to say the least. Shocking to many. All right. I know a little bit about this, but this has been very helpful. So 2 things. One is I helped Chris write a book, and it's an excellent book called The $1 Million Real Estate Team.
Yep.
He flew down to my house, and we spent 11 hours where I interviewed him about everything about his business. So much in the last hour I fell asleep, and he was talking in the microphone and woke me up. Right, Chris?
Literally, you fell asleep.
But I got it all out of you, and then
on a patio, on your couch, on your patio.
Yep, your business partner wrote a book. And where can they go get a copy of the book, The $1 Million Real Estate Team, to talk about how you went from zero to netting $1 million in 3 years, which this brand ambassador program has covered more in that book, isn't it?
That's exactly right. So like we dive into the brand ambassador program. There's a list of our vendors. The book can be purchased on Amazon. You can just Google the $1 million real estate team.
Yep.
Yep. And then the other place you can go buy it is wirbook.com. One thing I'll leave everybody with is, so I don't know who buys the book. If you buy it on Amazon, I have no clue who buys it. If you buy the book through wirbook.com, which is like a landing page we spun up.
We got your Facebook group.
Yep. If you buy it on there, then we'll send you a private invitation to a Facebook group where it's made up of people that are trying to implement the brand ambassador program. We talk about lead generation, conversion, scaling your business, like all of the different, pillars to growing a team business. They're all things we discuss. And so you'll get an invitation to that private group. And, it's a small group of elite people that are trying to, grow leaps and bounds.
Right.
And that's wirbook.com.
And a part of the viral marketing core service, we're creating a project-based group implementation project for this, much more higher level structured plan to help you implement this. But a part of our core service is we will help build you a list of potential brand ambassadors in the build fee, and get a letter out to them to help you set an appointment. And on top of that, we actually have a co-marketing agreement of how you can include your brand ambassadors and your vendors in your emails, in your videos, on your social media, get coupons out to your database, a bunch of ideas. So you can work them into your marketing, and then you can do a mastermind with them as well if you'd like. So it's not just about sending me these hard referrals, which is what you don't want it to ultimately be. All right,
Frank, I don't, just one little nugget I'll leave everybody with about viral. So, one of the amazing things about the viral videos is they're really short, right? I mean, it's 2 to 3 minute video, and the goal is to make them very educational. And so one thing you can do, like with potential leads, right, like coming into your pipeline to work, is you can set up a drip email sequence. And in that drip email sequence, you can include these educational videos so that you can build yourself as an authoritative figure with credibility and establish yourself as an expert by setting up drip campaigns. So one of the beauties, and I don't even know if you're aware of this, so like the Boomtown platform, you can create a simple drip email, and we put in there a URL with videos, and it's sequenced over the course of like a year, and they can go watch all these educational videos, like about the Clue report for homeowners insurance, the plumbing. We did a viral video with a home inspector. We did one with a roofing company. Like, you get all these people incorporated that come from a very, from a point of just wanting to educate the consumer, and you can incorporate that into part of your drip sequence to establish yourself from a, an expertise perspective and to help with the lead nurturing process. So it's just a little nugget for people.
Cool.
Getting, I don't take this the wrong way, Frank, but like the viral fee of $550 or whatever it is like peanuts, right? I mean, it really is.
When you're making $25,000,
right,
directly
so
off of marketing fees.
Well, I guess the reason another reason I believe, like, the $550 or whatever you charge is not a lot, is because it's inexpensive in my mind, because with viral, it makes it so much easier to go get the vendors. Because imagine like you get a vendor on board, and then like, a month in, you're meeting with them face to face, and you're doing a live kind of Q&A with them, and you're recording it. Like, they love that stuff. Like, they get to talk about their business, how great they are, give value to the customer.
It's more than just the leads.
Right. Yep. And so like, that's the biggest, and I hope that's the biggest takeaway for everybody on here, is like, it's more than just the leads. Like, it's, if you come from a place of like authentically wanting to do a good job for the customer, connecting them with good local business owners that are trying to, like, master their field or industry or whatever, you can create a really beautiful thing, because like, it goes way beyond the leads. Like I said, like, most people are in our brand ambassador program not because of the referrals, but because of the monthly mastermind, where local businesses exchange ideas on how to grow their business and share results and talk about things going on in the community. And something else, really, this is probably the coolest thing, which I have not even told you about the brand ambassador program, is so like, as you start adding value to these brand ambassadors, the most amazing thing is like, they end up becoming brand ambassadors for you, for your real estate company. So like, we started the brand ambassador program like coming from a place of like, we're going to be an ambassador for their business. And what ended up happening was we were giving so much value to these other
They would
local
go out and bring referrals to you.
they were becoming brand ambassadors for us. And so like, think about how amazing that is, because like the yard guy and the irrigation guy and the flooring guy, sometimes those vendors get the call from consumers saying, hey, I'm thinking about selling my house. I want to, make sure it looks pretty before my realtor comes and sees it and tells me what it's worth. And so they end up sending you referrals. And so imagine having 20, 5, 30 vendors out there that are like telling their customers like, hey, you need to call this guy to sell your house. Like it's like you have a sales team of local business owners that are very authoritative, credible, and they're telling their customers.
Do you know how much business you got last year that you can track from that?
So to be honest, I had this aha like 2 years ago, and the system we were using was Boomtown. And as your business grows, like, and you're doing, our Austin team is going to do like 1,000 deals this year. Yeah, well, long story short, like we had to actually build out our own CRM system on Salesforce. And the reason we had to do that was because we were having so many people saying, hey, my friend told me to call you. And we'd be like, oh, who's your friend? They're like, oh, this guy named so-and-so. And so in the CRM system, Boomtown or Real Geeks, like they have the drop-down menu of where the lead came from. And so we were putting referral in there, right? Like it was a referral. And so we ended up with all these referrals, and we were like, where did they come from? Yeah. And so we actually launched Salesforce last summer. And so now we've got, it says referral, the drop down says referral, but then there's another line that says details. And then we can write in the person that referred us, their name and number, so we can call them and drill down. And then send them a thank you card in the mail with like a gift card. So I don't have an answer for you, but I will tell you, I mean, it's not rocket science to think if you had 25 local business owners that liked you and that you added value to, you're going to get some business out of it.
There's probably a lot of fulfillment with it, of enjoy. But look, this is fantastic. Chris, I spent 11 hours with you. It could have been 111 to write like the encyclopedia of this, right?
Yeah.
Chris is a genius at this stuff. I mean, to go from zero to netting after all your expenses in a very hyper-competitive market with your own brokerage in your 20s to net $1 million, I haven't seen any success story like that. It's an incredible success. I haven't.
Yep. No.
And I recommend you check out Chris's book. And if you are interested in viral marketing, give us a call. We'll get you set up in the core service. Start doing that. And if you're interested in more of our premium project-based group implementation, where you work with me, more directly to help you put a really solid brand ambassador program in place. Ultimately, some 25 people making 20 grand, $5,000 a month as your business grows.
Yep.
Let us know if you're interested in that. So, Chris, thank you so much for your time today, and we'll go ahead and we will end the interview there. Thanks, Chris.